just hush so my mind could just cease, so my mind don't erupt. At times I feel I can't get enough, but I sip a double cup, then I spin a couple bucks. Sending out some love to my blood, to my girl, to my buds, to the homie up above.
The hoes are laughing?
Yep.
So the audience are a bunch of hoes?
Yep.
He dedicates 8 hours a day role-playing as a toddler.
I'm in baby mode on and off all day.
And Jess's daddy is caring for her.
I'm 20, but not really, because I'm 5.
Adopted mommy and daddy who are totally comfortable with me being a little girl.
I identify as an 8-year-old girl called Denise. Therefore, I am an 8-year-old girl.
Well, there you go, folks. You're an 8-year-old girl, and the hoes are getting what they're deserving. So these days. So, anyways, welcome to the MCU's Bleeding Edge. We are live Friday night, September 8th, to discuss the 1999 film Arlington Road. That's right, people. Arlington Road. So a lot of you are probably out there going to be going, what the fuck is this movie? Well, this is a great movie from 99 that is a thriller. It's got a political aspect to it, but it's got one of the most craziest endings you'll ever see. So, yeah, it's really fantastic.
That's what Isabella would say, Cyber. That would be her canned response because, she was blown away that Frequency was even good. She was like, oh, don't you remember what she say? I won't lie. I thought this was probably going to suck.
She was wrong, and so was I.
There you go, people. A lot of people, from anybody I've seen watch this movie, they number one were like looking at it going, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. And then they watch it and realize, holy shit, I was wrong. So as you can see, both people on the panel here said the same exact thing. So yeah.
Wait a minute. I did not think it was going to be garbage or whatever. Did I say? I never remember.
Neither did I.
I told you that. I think Cyber. I told you I never saw it. Right. I didn't think, and that. I knew that the actors that were good and that were really good. Right.
I meant from right now, sir.
Talking. I got you, but no. I mean, honestly, that's the thing that these kids don't get, brother. Is that literally all these movies have some of them have they have two or three all-star actors from that time period. It's going to be a good film.
You calling me a kid, Jeff?
No, I'm not incorporating you. I'm talking about kids in general. After the Cyber knows from our show last night that me and Jesse Starcher talked a little bit about his kids, him trying to get his kids to watch the original Star Wars trilogy. You saw that, heard that, Cyber, and I found that interesting. I did. No,
I haven't seen that since I was 10 years old.
Well, at least you saw it. He can't even pay his kids to watch him. So, like, yeah, that's my point. My point is just that.
Are his kids like okay up here?
No,
I know I'm not.
Cyber.
Okay.
Tell me, sir.
No offense.
Where do you rank Arlington Road on your top Cyber hit list?
It's in my top 10.
Okay.
I don't have an exact number because I don't have a list combobulated for this yet. Because as we go through movies, I've forgotten about movies that we're going through, so I have to add those to my list. So it definitely would be in that top 10 range though, because the ending blew me away the first time I saw it. You have a list?
That's why I've got our list, and that's why I even added extra index cards to my already there index cards, because every fucking touch, no matter what kind of show we do of any kind, some movie comes up at least once that we want to review.
You guys should review Megan. I'm here for it.
You may not want to actually get into movie reviews because honestly, it just becomes like an addiction. It's like crack. It's amazing how everything can be.
Are we at the 5 o'clock giveaway? Because we're like 5 hours and 5 minutes late.
No, sweetheart. If you've ever met crackhead before or experienced crack doesn't last after 5 o'clock. Free crack giveaway.
Hey, listen, I've
no extra for crack.
The only thing I've taken that's even remotely close to crack, at least according to people who are in my family who are on crack at some point, is acid.
Great. Crack
Kids out there, I know the show is 18 plus, but don't ever do acid.
You're good. Crack and acid are not even the same thing. Anyways, Cyber,
thank God.
You tell me. is it not true that literally doing movie reviews is like crack almost?
I personally wouldn't consider it that.
You get the connection, though.
I definitely would say that yes, it can become a part of your natural life, yes, because you end up enjoying it so much. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that are addicted to it, but in my general experience, I wouldn't consider it an actual like addiction.
No,
I would just consider people, they enjoy entertainment. They want to talk about entertainment because that's something to socially talk about, and that's just how it works. So yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I wouldn't say that it was like a crack addict.
it's not like crack, Sally. What I'm saying is just that me and Cyber every show or what, as we would do since we do movie reviews, no matter what we do, movies pop up and we're both like, oh fuck, yeah, I can see it in his face, or I say it. That we both want to review it. And
I still think y'all should watch Megan and review that. You know that new freaky doll movie that isn't Child's Play?
Cyber's already covered it.
Yeah, I already covered it.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been gone.
Sally Cyber covers every fucking movie there is, even the ones that are made in like different dimensions.
I swear, if you guys cover the Five Nights at Freddy's movie as a joke on Halloween, I'll be on it.
I'm sure that will come across the table, most definitely, because it's going to be on Peacock the same day it releases in theaters. So
I'm surprised Andres.
Oh shit! Really?
I'm surprised Andres didn't see any of your reviews in the time cop dimension.
I think because he's in the time cop dimension, he doesn't realize it though.
Maybe he's just too busy hanging out with John Claude Van Damme to watch TV.
Probably. I mean, I would be very busy if I was hanging out with John Claude Van Damme too. You know, we'd be doing karate chops. We'd be doing all kinds of shit. You know, we'd probably be picking up chicks together. I don't know.
Don't even play. You've seen John Claude interviews and shit. He seems like a dope dude to hang out with.
Oh, he definitely is. You know he is. I mean, he made the movie
don't know what
Bloodsport.
I find. Sorry.
No, seriously, Sally. If you understood what John Claude, if you've heard John Claude, but if you knew what he's like now at old age,
Definitely not.
Like most hardcore, brutal. Will just say whatever motherfuckers out there, dude. He don't give a fuck.
I've never heard of this man in my life, but he sounds like
he's Belgian.
Jackie Chan or some shit.
What? You never heard of
Like
John
the way
Claude?
you're describing him about karate chops makes him sound like Jackie Chan on crack. Oh, by the way, Jeff.
No,
I'm slightly concerned.
No, don't be concerned because we're reviewing.
No, it's not that. That intro, you've been watching a little too much TLC, my friend.
TLC.
Oh. What? Why? Were you under the impression that in some
the
way,
channel or the band?
The channel.
Does TLC actually have
He dedicates 8 hours a day role-playing as a toddler.
is TLC actually have a series with that?
That was my strange addiction, and I know that I've seen at least most of those videos.
Anyways, if they have that, Cyber, we're reviewing that next.
That is my
what?
strange addiction, watching
the TV
these
series.
stupid
The TV
videos.
series.
He dedicates 8 hours a day.
The TV series of that. We're gonna review the episode.
Okay. Okay.
Apparently, that's on TLC.
We can do that as short.
Yeah, it's my strange addiction.
It is.
I enjoy trash television.
Yeah, that looks like
Yeah, that is literally my strange addiction.
It is? Okay.
Jeff, did you make that compilation yourself?
Cyber, how the fuck is this?
He dedicates 8 hours a day role-playing as a toddler.
I'm in baby mode on and off all day.
And Jess's daddy is caring for her.
I'm 20, but not really because I'm 5.
Adopted mommy and daddy who are totally comfortable with me being a little girl.
I identify as an 8-year-old girl called Denise. Therefore, I am an 8-year-old girl.
The fact
What are
that
they-
I've seen all of those.
What are they addicted to? Like having bad names?
No, they're addicted to being.
They're addicted. There's like a bunch of,
that
it's like
person, to be those
shockumentary
people.
shit.
What'd you say, Cyber?
I said they're addicted to being those persons. They're people with mental disabilities. That
No, they're not.
think they're
Most of the time
that.
it's kinky shit.
Well,
No,
I beg to differ.
Sally, you don't
Most
understand.
of these people are not mentally ill.
Sally, that dude actually thinks he's an 8-year-old girl, bro.
I've seen the show. I know. I
watched
watch Ricky Gervais shit.
I've watched this shit before too, Sally. I'm a lot
Hot
older
D.
than I've been watching these shows before you were born.
That's right. That's right.
Because these
I
shows
was
have
born
been
in
on
2000.
Yeah, so these shows have been on since at least the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I know. I watched whole episodes. I told you I like trash TV.
Yeah. But anyways, back to Arlington Road, people out there. Sorry for getting off track here because there's some crazy people on the panel here. Anyway, so like I said, this came out in July of 1999, July 9th to be exact. Called Arlington Road, of course. This was directed by the gentleman that goes by the name of Mark Pellington. He also is known for directing the 2002 film, The Mothman Prophecies. So this was kind of like his first, like, I think more bigger film. Because he directed a few shorts and he's directed a few other movies, but I feel those two films are his biggest, Arlington Road and Mothman Prophecies. And of course, this stars the great Jeff Bridges, Tim Robbins, Joan Cusack, Hope Davis. Also has Mason Gamble in it. For those that don't know who Mason Gamble is, he played Dennis the Menace in the live-action Dennis the Menace movie from 1993. Also stars Spencer Treat Clark, who you might all recognize from such films as Unbreakable, Gladiator. He plays Lucius in Gladiator, which he reprised his role from Unbreakable and Glass, actually, in 2019. So if you haven't seen
I love those
old,
movies, man.
you have to check him out. It's funny. He kind of just looks like a larger size version of himself, which is pretty funny. So this movie was made for $31 million back in 1999, which I thought was pretty impressive budget. I mean, alone, Tim Robbins, Jeff Bridges, those two right there were going to be big costs to begin with. Joan Cusack, I'm sure she takes in a hefty price, but I don't think as big as, say, Jeff Bridges or Tim Robbins would be, especially because Tim Robbins, you know, Shawshank Redemption, Academy Award type of nominations and stuff like that. You know, he had a lot of films in the mid to late 90s that were very popular. So I feel he was a big commodity, just like Jeff Bridges was, you know, because of The Big Lebowski and other films that he did in the 90s. Tron, of course, back in 82. And, but yeah, it ended up taking in $41.1 million in 1999 when it was released in theaters. So it made a little money. It wasn't a huge hit, but it still did a pretty good job.
What was the budget?
I'd like to point out that
what was the budget again?
$31 million.
Thank you.
That's like nothing nowadays.
What? Oh,
that was 1999.
Yeah, so 1999. That's actually that's a decent budget for a film like this.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm so impressed. If I'm visibly shaking, I promise I'm not like on shit. I'm just
You're fine.
Still reeling from this movie.
You're straight. You're good.
Okay, good.
Besides, everyone assumes everyone's on crack anyway on here, so we're disconnected anyway. No, Cyber, you think it's fair, like we did the other night, to kind of just say, basically, based off the time difference of like 20 plus years, that probably fiscally a $31 million budget, you could just double it basically for today?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, most definitely.
Right.
I would say probably at this level, at today's times, if you were to try to get Tim Robbins and Jeff Bridges together in a movie, I would estimate at least $100 million for that film.
That's right.
I was gonna say like 125 million or something, maybe even higher than that.
No, Tim Robbins. This is when probably at his peak in terms of pay potential at this point in his career, I believe, right?
Yes, I would say so. But I feel he kind of had a kind of a revision. He got a kind of a reprise when he did Mystic River just a couple of years later in 2003. So him being Oscar nominated and everything like that, and I believe he won.
I gotta add that to the list.
He ended up he went up substantially at that time, and he had a few roles after that. But then he kind of petered off in the 2010s. I feel we really haven't seen him in much lately. He's doing a lot more.
No, I mean he really came back strong with Mystic River, but then it wasn't one of them deals where like McConaughey, where then it turned into something where he had a good 6-7 year run where he was getting really good lead roles and shit, right?
Yeah, most definitely. All right. So basically, before we get into the film, I just want to get everyone's thoughts, kind of overall, your thoughts on the film. Just kind of briefly tell me after watching it, what was your overall feelings of the film? Just kind of like briefly, kind of like going into it. What was your thought process going into this with such big names as Jeff Bridges and Tim Robbins in this film? Were you expecting much? Were you expecting less? And kind of what were your overall thoughts going into the film, thinking, "Hey, this could be a good movie, or this could be a bad movie." Starting with you, Sally.
Shit, I didn't want to be picked on first. I just finished watching it fully an hour ago. I am still like feeling like shaky and kind of like almost nauseous from the twists and turns and ending of this film. It genuinely, it gave me like at first, because I started watching it earlier today. It gave me like more artfully done The Ring and House of a Thousand Corpses sort of combined in the unsettling score and the like student film-esque opening with the credits and shit. And then it just got terrifying when I started watching it with my dad.
Okay. Thank you. Jeff, same question.
Hello, Facebook user. I always love the Facebook user, Cyber. Someday, if the gods can explain to me why they have to always start off as Facebook user instead of their name, I'd love to know. Either way, yes, Arlington Road, baby. You could never know. I love this part. But no, honestly, now you got me fucked up, Cyber. I'm thinking about Mystic River. I haven't thought about that movie in so long. When did it come out?
2003.
Oh God, man, I saw it in the theater too. That shit fucked me up, man. Sean Penn was so good in that damn movie. Great cast too. That's almost ensemble. But anyways, there you go, folks. See, that's what I'm talking about with the movie reviews. Now I just had to add to the list right there. And I'm already excited to review it. Even though it's not even, who knows, we might not even do it until 2027. No,
we're gonna be sitting here and
are we gonna review it in the time capsule dimension? Who the fuck even knows how time works there? But either way, bottom line, I mean, look, at first, I told Sally that I thought this movie was from the late 80s potentially. I wasn't sure. I said it's either from the late 80s, I think, of the early 90s, right? And the only reason for that was that because I'd never seen it, and because in my mind, historically, I remembered it coming out though, and I thought that it did come out around like 91, 92 for whatever reason. And plus, because who's in it, right? That's why. Except for the actress that plays the girlfriend, right? I forgot her name. Yeah. Other than that,
Hope Davis.
Hope Davis, yeah, she was great.
Yes, she was.
But either way, I just thought when I saw the cast, I was like, this has got to be a movie from like either 89, 90, 91, 92. You know where I'm going with that. I mean, because, Jeff Bridges and back, to me, Tim Robbins and Jeff Bridges teaming up, it seemed like something that would be like early 90s. But then it came out in 99, surprised me. And honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing the trailer because I haven't watched it ever. And I want to see what the video quality is like, right? And, and everything and whatnot, right? How good the trailer sells the film. How did it do box office wise, actually profit wise?
It made 41.1 million.
Okay, overall box office?
But overall, yep.
Okay, all right. So it made more than double its money.
11 million.1 more in the budget. That's nothing.
That's crackhead
10 million.
Oh, is that what it is? What?
Oh.
I thought. I'm sorry, 31 million. Okay, I got you. All right.
10 million.
That's
It
not
made
even
10 million.
down.
No, I know, but you know what? See, so that's the you have to understand. Folks. That's one thing I love about having young folks like Sally come on, your young creators like Isabella.
I'm 23. I'm not a baby.
I didn't call you a baby. But just have young people on because it gives us a contrast in these reviews that I love, especially these movie reviews, not the episode reviews of TV series. These movies, right? Because it's not one of them deals where like Cyber and I care about fucking trying to get kids to watch good fucking old movies. It's up to them if they want to do that or not. If we could do that, that's great. But I absolutely love hearing. It's fun for me. Younger people come on, watch these older films, enjoy the shit out of them, think they're great, right? And then having their opinions, are being based off a lens where they don't know who these actors really are or how popular they were in 1990 or 85 or whatever, like we do, Cyber, right? So like they give at that point, that right there, that part really, really, like, I love it. You get what I'm going, Cyber. It's cool, man. It is like, I can't imagine watching this film not knowing about, like the IDB credits and whatnot of these main actors and actresses, right? Like it would totally change how I view the film, almost, right? I would think, and I never really thought about that till now. How much of an effect it is when you know an actor or an actress and their body of work as you're watching the film, or even before it. It does kind of change right from jump what you expect. But either way, it certainly, sir, without question, way surpassed anything or any expectation of what I thought this movie was ever going to be about, to the level of degree it ended up being. And the fucking ending was awesome. I love it. I love any fucking ending that is not just perfect and like smooth and like makes everything happy and blossom, and you know what I'm saying? That shit is so played out. I love it when they actually don't let everything be perfect and some shit go bad for the good guy or whatever, right? Not that I'm trying to give everything away, but I love it. It's a great spin. And when it's done well, like they did in this film, God, man, it's like you almost fucking like literally like feel bad in your heart for the character that got totally fucked or whatever. You're like, holy shit. Like, I literally said to Isabella earlier, I was like, dude, they fucked this guy, man. He's fucked. Like, holy fuck, did they set him up? Talk about getting played. And they really fuck. I mean, it's a really, really deep movie, man. It's a very internalized, very, 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 non-geographically spread out, very contained, right? Kind of, backgrounds very, very similar. Nothing really, splashy. Very consistent, good, solid film. That's just quality and entertainment all throughout with no lulls, nothing boring. And the suspense is real. It's authentic. It's not a joke. And there's no misses on it. There's no failures. So it never breaks up. There's not like one attempt of it where it's like, what the fuck? That's stupid. No, it's consistent the whole fucking time. If anything, it gets more intense. So it's just excellent writing. Great storytelling.
Agreed. Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right, so this movie jumps off right to a great start. I mean, this movie like starts you off right with the adrenaline running. We start off, we see this kid walking down the street. He's definitely something's going on with him. He's got something wrong with him because his eyes are rolling back to his head. He's kind of having blurry vision. And Jeff Bridges comes, or Michael, I should say, comes driving up on the street and pulls up behind him and sees him and gets out. It's like, hey, what's going on? And the kid, turns around and he's got part of his hand is blown off and he's like basically going to shock. He grabs him, puts him in his car and races him to the hospital to get help. He gets him there. They take him in. He ends up being taken care of and he's fine. That's when his parents show up. And we find out that that's Tim Robbins and Joan Cusack. That's when they're first introduced, and they're very thankful to him for saving their son's life. And, basically iterate that while they're at the hospital. And he's like, Jeff Bridges is like, Michael, I should say, he's like, oh, no problem. No, I understand. I have a son of my own, type of deal. And they kind of get to know each other a little bit at the hospital. And then basically, as it goes from there, panel bitch, what's good now?
You calling me a bitch?
No, he's not calling you a bitch. He's saying the panel bitch. And so
we're all
basically,
bitch.
Yes.
Sorry.
And so after that happens, that's when basically we see him go to his class and teach his class a little bit. And then basically he's invited to a get together over Tim Robbins' house after he had saved his son's life. And he goes over, they have a barbecue, and he's getting to know them. He brings his son over. The son's playing with the son of Tim Robbins. And basically they have kind of like the shindig and have some have libations and all that kind of stuff and get to know each other and kind of become friends. So we'll stop there. Kind of the big introduction to the movie. So I want to get everyone's thoughts on that beginning of the film, including the kind of that first kind of like barbecue makeout they have together and get to know each other. Michael and of course Tim Robbins' character Oliver, and just what your guys' thoughts were on that section of the film. Was there anything that you really enjoyed? Is there anything that was interesting? Did you find that like how it starts like right at the get-go, that's like adrenaline rushing, or like gets right into it, gets your blood pumping, and just your overall thoughts of kind of that beginning montage sequence there to the film? Starting with you, Jeff.
Well, basically, I again having no having had no, I mean, I don't like to spoil stuff. If I haven't seen something, I don't want to spoil it, right? So I made no attempt to even try to find out what the storyline of the film was. I knew nothing about it going into it at all. Like, I mean, no one's ever talked to me about it before. No one's ever really told me. I've never heard, I'd never heard any chatter. So no, I really didn't know what to expect at all, really, other than the fact that what you told me, and the basic stupid Wikipedia, blurb or whatever, right? Which is just, it doesn't really tell you much, anything, you know what I mean? And whatnot, just like, the category of film it was. And then, the fact that it had really good acting, obviously, at least in terms of the leads, right? And the fact, I had no idea that going in, of course, not to go too far aside from that opening image, I had no idea that there would be so few secondary characters that, in the film. I had no clue, for instance, right? But as far as the opening, it was not confusing, but I did not know at all what to think this was leading to or meant. You know what I'm saying? Or not, like I had no idea how I didn't perceive how this established something in terms of a thriller, I guess, right? Like, or how, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it was like something where, if anything, I mean, wasn't puzzled, but I'm like, okay, this is deep. Like, we'll see where this goes, but as to how or what this has to do with anything involving what I understand the themes of this film to be their strengths, I'm not correlating it really. You know what I mean? But it was graphic, and very authentic, well filmed, and Jeff Bridges pulls off emotion very well. He's a great actor. Very, really, really good. I almost hate to say it at this point, but in terms of the movies I do see now that aren't fandom or whatever, whatnot, because Cyber knows I do actually go out and watch regular movies now. And I've been watching old, movies again. I'm incorporating just watching regular movies again in my life here and there for fun. And I'm rewatching old ones sometimes because of our reviews. It makes me want to like go back and rewatch stuff that like maybe I just never watched. I didn't think that'd be good, or whatever. But plus I enjoy the nostalgia. I'm a 90s kid. Either way, no, I thought that the intro part where they went past the actual scene and they kind of blended it in with the roles and whatnot and everything, and the actual text and whatnot, and the sort of music or whatever, or the the soundtrack part. That part didn't do anything for me really. It didn't like establish anything for me either, or really like wow me, or I didn't really find it to be all that great. Probably if anything, that's the only part of the film that didn't totally like kill it for me.
Okay, thank you. Sally, same question. What were your thoughts on that beginning of the film?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is, contrary to what Jeff just said, the score actually did creep me out so much that at times I was like, it felt like my head was like vibrating because of how it affected the tone of the movie. Because I wrote down a really long-winded explanation of this, but I'll keep it quick. It gave me, at first, creepy 90s music video that, like, student film-ish vibes. And one of my favorite movies is The Ring from 2001, and I've read the book in the English cover too. English version. But this honestly might have been better than The Ring for me. Like, for The Ring, you can kind of guess what's going on pretty early. This movie had so many twists and turns, and I feel like I'm getting a migraine just thinking about how many times I tried to guess the ending before it happened, and then the ending blew my goddamn mind. Let me say this. The Ring is one of my favorite movies, and I liked this better.
Sally, question.
Yeah?
What did you think of the opening scene?
Oh, that, like, freaked me out. It was, gosh. I was not expecting, because, like, the camera was blurry. It was just sort of, God, I was not expecting to see blood and gore from, like, the first 2 minutes of the movie. I literally paused it to try to catch my breath after like, during the title sequence. I also can definitely appreciate a good title sequence like that. But yeah, I appreciate the blood because, you know, the MCU, you never see blood, almost ever. So it was a nice change from what we would review when I was.
No, not unless it's the blood coming out of some dude's eyes and shit and whatnot when he sees Brie Larson's 7-year-old ass, but he's hitting from the back, you know?
Yeah.
True that. All right, thank you both. Very good job. All right. So, after that initial party, and we meet, and we're, basically more introduced to Tim Robbins' character Oliver and his family, Joan Cusack and Mason Gamble and his two daughters and stuff like that. And of course, Michael's son is becoming friends with Mason Gamble's character. We basically from there, that's when we go back over to we lost somebody. We go back to over to Michael's house, and he's going through his mail, and he notices a piece of mail for Oliver, and so he brings it over to Tim Robbins, Oliver, and gives it back to him and says, "Oh, and notice it said, blah blah blah," and he's like, "Oh yeah, they keep getting mixed up with somebody else, I feel," and basically rips up the letter and throws it away, and Michael's kind of like, interesting. So, kind of the suspicion starts to come together a little bit there for him. It starts to percolate in his mind. And so after that, basically that's when he kind of, realizes, kind of like, oh, I thought he said he never had been to the East Coast and stuff like that. And that starts like, percolating through his mind and stuff like that. And so basically after that, like I said, he basically starts mounting his suspicions of Oliver, and he starts to kind of do some research and starts to like, percolate and all this kind of good stuff. So after his suspicions start, getting into it, and he starts looking into, Oliver, and basically we end up showing him again with his class, and he's discussing about terrorism, and kind of going over things, with the class and teaching them about, certain things and how they don't work, and kind of gives them kind of a life lesson a little bit with, when coming suspicious about, Oliver's character. And so, after that, he takes them on kind of like this little field trip, telling them about the situation that is actually based off of a real occurrence that happened in real life back in 1992, where there was this 10-day standoff with this guy with guns. And unfortunately, through the standoff, it lasted 10 days, and his wife and kid ended up being killed. And he ended up still going to jail for a short time, but thankfully he got like retribution and stuff like that. And, he got paid certain things and stuff like that. And he was released out of jail because he was not in the wrong. And so that's why he was having the standoff. And so he was basically, Michael is explaining this story. And as he's talking about that, we get a flashback, and the flashbacks of his wife and basically what happened to her. And so we get kind of like that idea and vision of what happened to her, basically working for the government and stuff like that. And basically, giving her life for the government. And, you can kind of see it in him, how it's kind of brewing in him and kind of getting him upset and stuff like that as he's telling the students. And so I think that's a really powerful scene in this film that, which I find kind of interesting about this film, the fact that it's very political. I felt like about terrorism, was very much about terrorism, and him being a terrorism teacher, and then all the things that Tim Robbins talks about, and how he's in kind of like almost like a libertarian or whatever you want to call it, and basically sticking it to the man kind of ideology, where you gotta create havoc in order to create peace, basically. And so that kind of came across in that kind of that party sequence a little bit, and that's what also kind of caused Michael to start having suspicions about Oliver. So before we move past that, let's talk a little bit about that section of the film. Was there anything that you found interesting about that? Was there anything that came to mind to you politically, or about like the whole situation, like in 1999, having this movie that's a lot about terrorism, because this was like shortly after kind of the Unabomber, the Oklahoma City bombing and stuff like that. So, I mean, we've had quite a bit of that happen, prior to this movie coming out. And then just a few short years later, we have 9/11. So
when did Columbine happen?
99.
Fuck, there you go.
And, but I don't really consider Columbine a terrorist.
No, I don't either. No. I just in general that it was something that popped in my head that occurred. I thought it happened around that same time period. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it was 99. Yes, student Sally.
Sorry. I would just like to say Columbine was a terroristic act, but there's a difference between terroristic act and like mind-blowing terroristic people.
Homegrown terrorism, yes, there is.
Yeah, that's something.
Well,
I'd
thank
like
you.
to add about
Thank
Columbine.
Well, thank you.
I love true crime.
The student is
I don't mean to interrupt.
The student is not a teacher. That'll be the title of our next review, hon.
Oh hell no.
So, your thoughts on that section, and just overall your thoughts, kind of, and all that kind of stuff. Starting with you, Sally, this time.
I watch so much true crime, and trash TV and true crime are like drugs to me. And it got me wondering, is any of this, aside from the whole flashback of Mia dying and stuff situation,
Sally,
the
question is your thoughts on the scenes where
I'm about to get to that, Jeff.
The character's teaching in the classes, and he's a conspiracy theorist guy.
I'm getting to that. It had me wondering, because I knew about the real story. Is anything else about this movie true.
No.
That's what I was wondering. Okay, thank you, Cyber. That's what I was thinking about that scene, like as I was watching it.
Okay. And what did you think about the flashback?
During the whole flashback and then the almost PTSD level of passion and freaking out that Michael was experiencing during his explanation and shit, genuinely was one of the scariest parts of this movie for me. So this is the first movie to scare me in years. I'm wearing a Marvel shirt just as security blanket.
Barbie didn't scare you?
What scared me more about Barbie was that there were 5-year-olds in the theater.
Anyways, I'd like to ask you a secondary question, Sally.
Okay.
Did you think about it at the end of the movie that they set up Michael, Jeff Bridges' character, the way they did, sort of like almost as if he was almost sort of unhinged almost, or like almost like maybe because of the death of his wife, obsessed to the point of like being sort of maybe not, you would say not crazy Cyber, but like fragile, or like maybe even like I don't know, not like you know a danger, but just sort of somebody that was kind of erratic. You know what I mean? Whatnot, a little bit and whatnot. Did you sort of like, did you grasp later on at the end of the film that how they set up with the story, the way that they laid out the film to where in the beginning of the movie, right? He's the one that like comes off sort of like, what the fuck?
That was me, right? I could never have guessed the ending if I tried, but it did start to make sense how they were sort of, the family was sort of playing into his emotions and his love for his son and his girlfriend and his dead wife, and they were like acting like his friends. I hate it when people do that in real life, but they were acting like they were cool with him when they were really just plotting to fuck him over. And
did you like the way that they decided to use the story, the way they did, the direction it spun from the beginning to the end with his character?
I wouldn't say it was fun even. It was a great sort of setup to like the news thing in the end. His students like getting all freaked out and stuff.
That's
why you can tell in the class and stuff that he was teaching that they were visibly uncomfortable.
Well, no, you know what? And I'll jump in there, Cyber. A couple times in the classroom, some of the students did actually get what he was talking about. He was making sense. Like some of the things he was saying were totally logical. In all honesty, like I'm Cyber knows I hate conspiracy theorists. I do. I can't stand them. You know, like I don't hate them. I'm sorry, I don't hate them. I just can't. I don't want to be around them. I don't want to talk to them. The minute they start talking their shit, I'm out. I'm gone. I don't care if you're a guy named Instagram model. Like, you know, I'm saying that's paying me to fuck you. Like, if you're gonna start talking about how like Bush did 9/11 and all this shit, I'm out. I'm gone.
Oh, hell no.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather go hang out with the chick that I put a paper bag on her head. Anyways, you know, either way, you know, no, I love the fact that they used that setting of him being the teacher, right?
Yeah.
Now, one thing I didn't understand, Cyber, for sure, how long had it been before his wife had died? Well, we're at the beginning of the film where he's teaching and whatnot and everything. Was that a couple of years?
At the end of the movie, sorry.
They never mention like how long it was.
The newscast do though. It was 3 years before. According to the ending and the news stories, I was paying really close attention by that point. Yeah. It had been 3 years.
That's right. Okay. That's right. And honestly,
I don't 100% agree, but okay.
I don't either. But
it's the evidence that people gathered about him, though. Like it was a news report that the FBI thing happened 3 years ago, and I think the like even Fox News would get that shit right. Even Fox News would do their research about that. Not trying to shade people who watch Fox News. I'm trying to shade the
But
TV.
enough. Stop, please. We don't. Fox has never been mentioned before on the MC's Bleeding Edge until now. We're good.
I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to. I feel bad now.
You're fine. No problem. It's fine. You're good. Sally, you're fine. You're just excited. It's okay. It happens.
I'm more freaked out than excited. I'm trying to stop smiling because I missed being on this show.
Oh, Cyber's
I'm
heart.
dead serious.
Cyber's crying inside right now. Anyways, Brie Larson's ass.
If I'm crying inside, you're weeping inside.
Brie Larson's ass is crying inside right now, right? And I don't blame it. I'd cry too if I was Brie Larson's ass. I'd be like, why do I have to be on Brie Larson?
I mean, asses do cry. It's called stank swamp ass.
Anyways, thank you, Sally. I'm glad. Thank you for explaining about swamp ass. I really appreciate it. But anyways, what's up, Jack D? And yes, no, Sally is not perfect.
Wait, Jack D is my boyfriend. Holy shit!
Oh, hey, Jack D, what's up? No,
I forgot he was watching this.
Sally, hey, Jack D, what's up? How are you? None of us are perfect, though, buddy. Anyways, no, Cyber. I love the fact that they induced the theme of the teaching at the university. And you're right, they really don't really like make an effort to like really go out of their way to give you all the facts or like all the details of everything, right? They don't. They leave a little bit of stuff out here and there, I think, to add to the suspense, if anything, right? Help build it and whatnot. And like sort of like I think they don't want you to know exactly everything's buttoned up and and bow tied, right? I don't think they want to wrap the whole present. And I like the fact that we don't know for sure, because that was time during the film that I really realized I couldn't tell based off of his emotion and the way that he was like literally through his classes and in just like basic conversations around people and like at dinner and whatnot and everything, that he was just breaking down, like literally feeding off of his anger from his wife's death while teaching. Right, like which he was doing, obviously. I'm not saying that, again, but they never explained though that if he'd always taught that class the whole time before his wife's death or not, that I know of. They never said for sure he's been doing that same class itself for 20 years or whatever. We don't know that. They never really say that in the film, I don't think. I could be wrong. If anybody out there wants to get in the comment section and tell me if I'm wrong, that's fine. But I like that part. And at that point, I basically felt bad for him because I just couldn't imagine what it must be like to lose a wife. Right. I mean, like, I didn't care about really that much about what I didn't know really how she died. And I mean, when you work for the FBI or whatever, like getting killed is a part of it. Right. Like it's part of the job. I mean, it was like that. You're defending our country. So like at that point, I won't lie to you. I was a little bit like, come on now, like, you didn't realize that like your wife could die any day. Like, that's all that I did think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then again, at the same time, though, he's right. I've heard in real life from people I've met in life that when things happen and whatnot to that level with certain people in like, not the FBI, but cops or whatever, or FBI agents, sometimes the family members don't get a lot of information accurately about what happens to certain deaths. They don't tell them the whole story. Right, or like what happened or what went wrong when there's a problem, and that's what they blame for the murder or the death of the cop. They don't even tell people the family the details of what actually went wrong. So that actually happens. I've even read about it in the newspaper before. But in general, I liked the fact that again, Jeff Bridges does a great job portraying pure, real emotion, authentic emotion, and I found it very interesting. When he did break down during the dinner, I very much wanted to see how Tim I'm sorry, Jesus Christ. I'm Tim Robb, what is his name in the film?
Oliver.
Oh, I was very much wondering. I'm like, how is Oliver going to react? Like, what is he going to say to him, right? In order in some way to console him or whatever, whatnot. Like, well, how is he going to go about it? And I found it interesting too from Jump that the new girlfriend, who supposedly is wonderful, right? Sort of her attitude right from Jump was sort of dismissive, like just leave him alone when he's like this, like you're better off just not even, you know what I mean? Almost like she's over it already. She's already been tired of dealing with this shit with him, breaking down and whatnot, everything, and losing it all the time. They're having a good time. I think it pissed her off that like all of a sudden like he's just whatever. But at the same time though, can you blame a guy? I mean, shit, man. If you've been with your wife for a long time and you love her, and all of a sudden she just dies, and you got a kid to take care of, that's rough. So it just made me think for a minute, like what I put myself in his shoes for a minute, and I was like, damn, man, like that's gonna be fucking hard to live after, man.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I'm starting to feel like physical Jack, physical awful pain. Jack, you're not the only one. We're live on a lot of shit. I'm trying to not to feel like a burden right now, but I'm in physical pain to the point where I'm gonna have to tap out.
Tap out. Peace.
Everything hurts right now. I'm so sorry.
Peace.
Have a good night.
Yeah, whatever. Goodbye, Sally. Anyway,
folks.
Goodbye, Sally.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Great question. Great answer there, sir. And talking about that scene there where Jeff Bridges goes outside and after his crying moment and Tim Robbins talks to him, that was, I felt, very realistic. I thought they did a good job of making it seem like a real person that how a real person how they would interact if that situation was really going on with a death of a loved one. So I thought they did a really good job of bringing that to life and giving us a really good example of what that could be. So thank you for bringing that section up, because that's a really poignant scene, because that also kind of drives more into that suspicion that Michael starts having, and bringing it more to that forefront to where he starts to look more into it. Because that actually, as the movie goes on, we end up going to a batting cage practice, and they're there, and Oliver's or Michael's son is in the batting cage, and he's batting, and Oliver's son's off to the side. He doesn't seem too enthused, and Michael's walking back by, and he asks him if he wants some Cracker Jacks. He's like, caramel and popcorn makes big bones. And he walks over and starts talking to Tim Robbins. And that's when Tim Robbins kind of explained that for some reason his son, Michael's son, has talked to him about his dead wife. And he's kind of like, he talked to you about my wife? About his mother? And you could just see like the expression that, Michael's giving off is like so like genuine, and like you're like going, what the hell? Like, why is he talking to you about this? Like, he's my son. Why is he talking to this stranger about his dead mother? And so that even pushes Michael further into doing his investigation more. And so we have that happen. And like I said, Michael starts to delve deeper into Oliver. That's when he goes to his wife's ex-partner and asks him for help. And he basically dismisses it, just like a kind of Hope Davis's character, Brooke, dismisses him. And basically he end up going over after the FBI guy won't help him to Oliver's house, to go into his study to search for something, to get some evidence on, that, Oliver's lying, that he's not really this contractor and all this kind of stuff. And so he pretends that he's locked out of his house, goes in the den, starts snooping around, and he notices on one of the pictures on the wall that there's something behind one of them that's covered up. And so he's like starts to try to look at it, and that's when Joan Cusack's character walks in, which Unfortunately, I don't remember what her name is in the movie. I totally forgot. Just that she's Oliver's wife.
I don't even. Did they ever even say what her fucking name was?
I don't know.
Nah, I don't even think they did. I don't remember anyone ever uttering her name.
Yeah, I don't remember it being named either.
Nah, maybe it wasn't even necessary. I mean, she's so ambiguous at that point. You know what I'm saying? As far as like everyone knew who she was, right? So they just fuck it. They're just gonna call her a real name anyway.
Yeah, most definitely. So she walks in and she's like, "Oh, you locked yourself out?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah." And he walks out with her and she offers him something. He's like, "No, I'm gonna go wait. I got some papers I can grade." And he goes back over and then his phone rings. He's like, "Oh," he's like, "I thought the darn battery was dead," type of deal. And so basically he leaves, and that's when basically from there, that's when Oliver starts to become suspicious that Michael's looking into something, and he confronts Oliver and basically goes over to his house and has a talk with him, and basically tells him, I did stupid things when I was 16, and basically tells him the story, of why he changed his name and all this kind of stuff, and that he want to keep it hidden because of his kids and all this kind of stuff. And that he regrets it. He didn't let he thinks it's horrible what he did, but he can't change anything, and all he could do was to try to start a new life, to give his children a better life and stuff like that. And basically that kind of eases Michael at that point. So before we move on past that, what were your thoughts kind of on that section of the film? Was there anything, what did you think about that conversation they have, that conversation? What did you think about Michael snooping? And what did you think of overall that little section of the film?
Well, I mean, basically it's the turning point of the film where, I guess not a turning point, but I guess you could say it's the point of the film where you think you have a sense of what the fuck's going on, right? You do. To some extent, you actually do feel, I think, for the only time in the film, a sense of like, okay, this is sort of the normal of the movie, right? Like, I get it, kind of, right? To some extent, right? Even though you obviously don't know what's her name's name, because she's nameless, right? Other than that, right? You pretty much have a gist. You feel like you have.
We'll call her Oliver's wife.
Yes, we'll call her the male Cusack sister, that's been in 187.5.75 movies, right, and like literally, you know what I mean, or whatever, right? Like she's been in everything, as like an awesome secondary character. She literally should go in the secondary character Hall of Fame if they have one. I'm being totally dead serious. She should be in it, because she can pretty much do anything. She can act anyway. She can do anything, play any character. She's funny. She can do emotion. And when she fucking, I'm sorry for skipping ahead, but when she stared at that fucking girl, man, and just said nothing, they just smiled. I was like, wow, bro, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, dude, it's like that. Damn. And then you're gonna fucking just drop the screen to black? Oh shit. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like that? Damn, bro. Like, you're fucking hard, bitch. You are one fucking nasty fucking hard bitch, man. And I just didn't expect it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see it coming from her. I knew she was there for I'm not trying to go too far ahead, but I knew she was there for ill reasons, but never did I think it was gonna be like that, man. That she was gonna act that well.
Yeah.
That was fucking intense. It didn't scare me, but it like fucking blew me away. I was like, God damn, that is a great fucking like evil, I'm gonna kill you face. That's awesome when you could just do that without even talking. But no, I felt like that was the grounded point of the film, where you kind of just had to see where things were going to go to like kind of like really add some layer and some detail to give us more reason to be more experience more suspense, right? Build it up more, give us more layers that are going to come. And at that point, they did a great job of, again, sort of, not making everything neat. You know what I'm saying? Again, not, stereotypical bullshit, a half and half kind of thriller where everything's hunky dory with a little bit of this and that, right? And then all of a sudden, the shit, the switch flips and shit and whatnot, like a goddamn bipolar crackhead chick, right? That you're hanging out with one night and everything and whatnot, and it goes from fucking being the coolest chick ever to like fucking goddamn, Catch Me Outside. You know what I mean? Like, in like three seconds. Although I wouldn't mind actually hanging out with the Catch Me Outside side of a chick either. Anyway, or the Catch Me Outside chick, who should have been in the film. But anyways, no, I don't think she would have been able to hang with Tim Robbins and and Jeff Bridges. But anyways, no, I thought that it was a great scene, like you said, trying to figure out Tim Robinson's character because you don't know what to think, right? So for him, again, we'll go into that one scene where he is sort of supportive. You almost want to believe that he's actually just a really decent fucking guy. So even as you're starting to like even see that there is some stuff going on that maybe might be a little bit iffy, right? I'm in my mind thinking, hey, you know what? There's some validity here. Like there might be some shit going down. Like just because this dude has whatever feelings he has towards the federal government or whatnot. He already was the way he was, and then what happened with his wife, right? Like, doesn't mean that he's stupid, right, or whatever. You know what I'm saying, or that he's not to be believed, or that like you can't like expect him to just like dismiss fucking like something that's clearly right in his face and does not look like right. I mean, seriously. I personally, myself these days typically give a shit about the people that I let my kids spend the night at their house at, or like go on vacations with and shit and whatnot. So, finding out that they're not even the fucking person they say they are is typically going to be a little jarring, or like even have the suspicion of that. Yeah, it's not, fuck it. It's all good. Okay, USA, I can't wait. Go ahead, Timmy. Go hang out over at fucking, Jack's house or whatever, whatnot with that dad. But no, it was a good part of the film where they give you a sense of sort of where you're at, what the sort of pace is, what you kind of should have expect, and then they kind of just play with us, right? And give us and just start giving us twists and turns and whatnot and everything, and fucking us up, and just really building that suspense up really well. Again, it's just a really well, I guess you could say, laid out and well-timed film for the length of it is and whatnot and everything. And I'm not talking about lulls or dips. I just mean the pace itself for a thriller is really solid. It's like literally 10 for 10. And honestly, maybe, now that you think about it, honestly, Cyber, maybe I don't know. I can't think of another actor that you could pair together with either one of them, right? In this film that would have been better doing their characters the way they did with their reversals from that point, right? And handling it the way that they did. I just don't know. I'm in my head just off quick. I'm trying to think about it for a minute, and I can't think of anybody really that you could throw right in there, because Tim Robbins is great at this kind of character. He is. This is his like sweet spot almost, right? I think you tell me.
He's good at the serious roles.
Yes. And he's very, very good at like making that flip if he has to. You know what I'm saying? Like, being consistently one way, and then yeah, he can pull it.
Yeah. I agree. I always compare Arlington Road to Mystic River a little bit for the fact that in Arlington Road, the type of character he plays and how it ends, he gets the justice he deserves in Arlington Road, or in Mystic River, technically, because in Mystic River, he ends up getting killed by Sean Penn, even though he wasn't actually the person that caused the death of his kid. So in this, he actually gets away with it, and then in Mr. River, he doesn't. So I feel Mr. River is kind of the OD to the end of Arlington Road, him getting his comeuppance a little bit, and it was just like 4 years later. So I think those work together very well.
I would agree with you very much. I would definitely, obviously. And you tell me. Can you think of anybody in that time period that you could have just thrown in there, other than Tim Robbins?
Ed Norton.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. Yeah, I think Ed Norton actually could have probably played either character.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. That's a good call.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Good call.
I think he could have played it too. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. Jeff Bridges and Tim Robbins are both powerhouses. They're both amazing actors, and they both killed it in this film. Hence why I picked this movie, because this is just a dynamic film. It doesn't get enough credit for how good it is, how the ending happens, and just in general, I always felt this film was very true to realism in real life and how things happen. And that there are a lot of people that do get away with these types of acts. They really do. So I felt that this movie was really well done. All right. So from there, that is when basically we have kind of just bits and pieces of things going on. We have, of course, Michael not wanting his son to go to that camp, but he ends up caving in and allowing him to. He ends up going and having a few different classes that he does. We have the conversation between him and Brooke, where he's like talking about how he changed his name, how he's been lying, Oliver, and all this kind of stuff, and she just dismisses it and basically gets mad and leaves. We see Tim Robbins looking on as that's happening. And then after that, that's when we have a few more kind of like little in between scenes of things happening. And then that's when Brooke is at this garage and sees Tim Robbins get out of this van and basically get handed this package from this woman. And he ends up going over to the other car and taking the other car, and the woman takes the van. And she finds this kind of rather weird. So she ends up following in her Mustang, which was a really nice car, by the way, at that time. And she ends up following him to this place where there's like this big manufactured place. And she ends up seeing that it looks very suspicious. So she ends up going to a payphone at this little strip mall and calls Michael and leaves a voice message saying, blah, 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 that you are right. Something weird is going on. I'm coming now to talk. As she gets on the phone, she turns around. There's Joan Cusack. And Joan Cusack has this interesting look on her face. And you're kind of like, ooh, this doesn't look good. And she's like, oh, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, shopping. And she kind of goes, yeah, same thing. And then she's kind of smiling, and all of a sudden she like starts smiling and starts to go slowly down to like evil look, and just like, oh shit, something bad's gonna happen. And then after it goes to the black, as you had mentioned earlier, that's when it goes to Michael at his house, and he's watching TV, and on the news he sees like an action that has happened, and they're kind of briefly talking about it. He switches channels to another thing to talk about it, and then notices that it's Brooke's car and realizes that Brooke has been in an accident. And so he rushes to one of the crime scenes and says, let me, what happened, blah, 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 and stuff like that. And nobody will give him answers, but basically say that it was just a unfortunate car crash accident and she's dead. And so we have the untimely demise of Brooke. So before we move on past that, let's talk about that little section. Let's talk a little bit more about that sequence there. What were your thoughts on that sequence of the film? What did you think about, as you had mentioned earlier, you talked a little bit about it. So if you'd like to expand on that, but what did you think about her following Tim Robbins? What did you think about that little scene more with Joan Cusack and just overall kind of that little bit of montage we got there in between coming to this really exponential scene in this film.
I'll tell you that I don't believe I don't think if I fell off or like turned my head for a minute or something like that or whatever to talk to dodge or whatever, or to grab a cigarette or something like that or whatever, or grab a drink or something. I don't think I missed very like too long right before that. But I was sort of like questioning as to what exactly was going down with that phone call, because honestly, I won't lie to you, unless I'm missing something, I couldn't tell really, right until the Cusack popped up, if she was actually a part of the fucking deal with the whole the whole terrorist shit, right? And she actually was somehow planted in with fucking him, in with Michael. Literally, for a second, I thought that possibly when she threw the phone the way she did, I was thinking, oh shit. Like, to me, that meant this is just part of her job, right? Like, this was her role. I literally thought that for a minute. Now, again, maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. But, I thought that for a minute. And so I couldn't tell whether she was being legit with Michael or fucking play with him. Right? I mean, seriously, because think about it. She's at that point erratic, kind of. Like, I'm saying, like, she's sort of like, you don't know. I mean, she's almost basically kind of like giving you the impression that she's sort of over this dude. Like, she's kind of just fucking done with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, like it's either you fucking stop being a goddamn crazy fucking, wacko stalker motherfucker, or you ain't getting no pussy, bitch. I ain't spending the night. So, no, but like seriously, she really did a great job in the film. Really great job. And of course, I've seen her in other films. I don't think I've ever seen her that good before. I really don't think I have. She held her own. Like, without, I mean, I'm not talking about, it was because of the other actresses and actors. It was her. Like, she held her own with the rest of the squad, basically, right? The 5 characters or whatever that are actually really a part of the film, or whatever it really is, main, I guess you would call main, basically, characters. Or 6 or whatever, if you 6 or 7 if you count the kids. But basically, I just was surprised because, I mean, again, and I'm not saying I'm not saying that this was stupid or didn't make any sense, but if she was so adamant that she didn't like what Michael was doing with with Oliver, I didn't really understand necessarily why she really would be enthusiastic enough to even go follow him like that, or even if she saw something questionable, right? Like, so that kind of like threw me off a little bit too. And I mean, if I missed something, Cyber, you can tell me, that like showed or indicated like, that there was a tangible reason. But I don't remember her having some kind of like internal pondering or whatever, where she was like, you know what, maybe I should give Michael the benefit of the doubt here or something. Yeah, I remember a moment like that. So
no, there's not anything like that in the movie. It's just more of, I think it happened to be the situation. She noticed something weird. She probably was thinking to herself, oh, that kind of rings to what Michael was talking about. And then she decided to go on instinct.
I see. Okay. No, I mean, no, she clearly, to me, she seemed very stable and like very articulate and intelligent and with it. And like, I know she was younger, and that she was undergrad, right, when he taught her and whatnot, everything. So I guess that was a little weird, maybe, or something. I thought they tried to give off that impression. Maybe there was a little bit of, not weird, but it was a little bit, you get what I'm saying. Just, did you feel like that at all? That with the age gap and the student? No. Well, no, because if you're an undergrad or whatever, whatnot, and everything, at that point, there really is nothing wrong with dating that person, right? As a professor. No, okay, yeah, it's perfectly fine. You're right. At that point, you would be like in your late 20s, essentially.
Well, I mean, it's just the student relationship is what they don't want you dating because they're a student and you have impressionable mind on them, is what they're saying.
Of course.
So
no, of course.
That's why that's that way. But after you graduate, it's all field. It's all the playing field.
No, I know because my brother did undergrad and whatnot. So I know you teach classes and shit and whatever and help and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. Like you're not really a student anymore. If anything. But no, so really, I mean, I guess the only thing I would say about that part is that Joan Cusack doesn't really get to, any great, awesome scenes like that again for the rest of the film that are like where she's put in a spot to like pull some shit off like that, like she does with that fucking stare. That I would have liked a couple more moments of her having a chance to like look evil as fuck.
100%. Yes, totally. I would have liked to have seen more scenes like that. But like you're kind of like blown away at the same time going, holy shit, she's evil too. Like she's behind this too. Like what the hell?
She's the first one that shows you, right? Like, I mean, she gives you, at that point, you don't even really know yet the full depths of what the fuck is about to go down. But like, that's your first indication really of like the reality. You know what I'm saying? No. I mean, in terms of like the depravity.
I think that when Tim Robbins goes over and confronts Jeff Bridges, that was kind of the first sign.
When I got you. When Jeff Bridges actually believes him and like feels bad.
Yep.
Because he's conning him.
Mm-hmm.
I see. All right. I think what I meant was more along the lines of the depravity in terms of the willingness to kill, the flippancy, right? And like sheer, no doubt, I'm going to kill you look in her face where it's like, it's over. It's already, I'm here for this. I'm like, yeah, I mean, and all she says is, I'm here to shop too. Right? Like, she's literally letting her know, you're done. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's over. I know why you're here, whatever. So it just kind of shocked me because I'm like, fuck, man. Once again, good for her to like be able to like pull that off and whatnot and like, be the one to sort of open up that can of worms of like, holy shit, you're telling me that this chick is actually a fucking straight up hardcore, like gangsta ass killer? Damn. Like she's down for the cause like that. She could really sell it, man.
I mean, look at her character in Addams Family Values.
Yeah, yep.
She's a Black Widow. Evil.
I know. They should have had her be the Black Widow instead of Sarjo.
You think they would have asked her the same question as ScarJo?
No.
Like, did you? What kind of panties did you wear while you were wearing the Black Widow suit?
No, but I think that she probably would have been like ballsy enough to be like, you know what? Don't dye my hair white. It looks fucking stupid.
White?
I'm joking off the other night. Fucking, that's what Andres called it, white or whatever.
He called it white?
Last night, yes, the blonde.
I missed that part.
I'm there, brother. I'm just busting your balls, man. I know you, and you know it too, brother. I'm just ripping on you, bro. I know you didn't mean that by it, but like, yeah, you called it white. Do people even have white hair?
No, none of those characters had white hair. The only person that had white hair was the Collector. No, ScarJo's hair is blonde.
I was gonna say
it's blonde and red. The couple times in the MCU, not.
Oh god, white. I know, but it was a bad look for her.
Did you ask him if he was colorblind?
No, I did not. I'd already fucked with him hard enough at that point. I wasn't going to go any farther. All I said was kiss the spider, bitch. But no, I thought, well, maybe in a time cop dimension, blonde is white.
Okay, maybe.
Maybe. Hey, in the future, the humans evolve, right? So you decide to make big sweeping changes.
We all start out with white hair instead, and we go dark or brown.
When you evolve to the level of the future, like as humans, you make big sweeping changes, like change the names of colors and switch them back and forth. And purple becomes yellow, all that. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
That's right. Because Nancy Pelosi is the chancellor. She's the prime minister.
Oh.
So she's making the rules, baby.
Oh God, then it's really fucked. It's really fucked. Then.
She's sitting there with her gavel and her ice cream in both hands.
Oh good God. No, you mean alcohol? You mean wine and liquor?
I want you to say one last thing about her. I swear to God, sometimes I've seen her before where I swear to God, I've watched her talk and watched her like shaking shit, and I thought to myself, she makes me think of that movie with Denzel where people are eating the fucking like dead people meat and shit, whatnot. And they're shaking and shit from like the human flesh withdrawals or whatever and shit. She's shaking and shit when she tosses like them people.
Denzel movie with dead people eating each other?
What? Where he has the Bible and he's like coming across the country with it and shit.
Oh, Book of Eli.
Yeah, those shaking people and shit in the house.
Oh, okay.
That's
It's been a while since I've seen that one.
That's what Poster reminds me of.
Okay. It's probably withdrawals from something.
What of that meat shaking bin, motherfuckers?
She's shaking because she's having withdrawals from something. I don't know what she's having withdrawals from, but she's having withdrawals is basically what it sounds like. Anyways, folks, back to Arlington Road.
Ice cream. She just switched over to sugar free.
Maybe. I don't know why you're just putting ice cream with Pelosi. That's giving bad name to ice cream. Poor ice cream. I feel bad for you, ice cream. I'm so sorry. Jeff has tarnished your name.
Well, you didn't know that. That's what fuels her. That's why she's alive.
Ice cream?
Yeah.
No, it's booze. Jesus Christ. Booze, not ice cream.
Oh, I know she's a drunk, believe me.
Anyways, folks.
She's probably a little bit of a day drinker.
All day drinker. Anywho, back to the story, folks. Back to Arlington Road. All right. Thank you, Jeff. That was great, sir. So after we unfortunately have the demise of Brooke, that spirals Mr. Michael out even more. He goes even deeper into a spiral. He starts even doing more research and stuff like that. He ends up basically going and talking to one of the fathers of a known terrorist that just recently had happened within the past few years that he would tell his students about. And basically, the father told him that there's no way my son did this because there was kids involved. He would never killed kids. And basically that's when like kind of a light goes on in Michael's head. And he's like, I got to go get my son. I got to get him away from these people. And so he rushes to go get him from the camp. And when he gets there, he's told that he's already been taken. That Tim Robbins' character Oliver has taken him out. And so basically, when he finds out, he goes to confront them at their house. He goes in, they're having a party, and basically that's when kind of Tim Robbins fully goes full Metal Jacket finally. And basically pushes him up back against the wall and tells him, that if you want your son to live, you're going to do what I say. You're going to leave this alone. You're going to stop meddling into matters that are none of your business and stuff like that. And basically, says, you can stay at the party if you like, but, if you're just going to be like this, you can leave, basically. And so he leaves and he goes more and more deep into a spiral. He ends up, we go back to his university that he works out. He's outside. He's sitting at like this giant area that's, to get walks in. And that's when the ex-partner of his wife pops up again and is talking to him. And basically, then trying to get a hold of you. And he's like, oh yeah. And he's like trying to not basically say anything more to him because of his son, what Tim Robbins said about, that if he wants to see his son alive, he got to keep his mouth shut. And basically ends up, walking away from the guy saying, oh, no, nothing is checked out. I have nothing, sorry, I got to go, basically. And from there, basically, we just get more kind of snooping. He starts to figure things out. He starts doing more snooping. He goes to that area, that stripping mall, where he finds out that Brooke had left him a message. He finds out that his answer machine's been erased, and then he starts snooping at that factory. And as he does that, he starts to get more and more deep into it, and basically, keeps trying to tell people that there's going to be a bomb that's going to blow something up, et cetera, and stuff like that. And basically making himself look more and more paranoid and like he's going out of his mind. And so basically, that's when he goes and he comes across Tim Robbins again. And, Tim Robbins grabs him and starts beating him. And basically, saying, you can't just leave enough alone. You can't leave this alone. Now I'm going to have to kill you and blah, 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 and this kind of stuff. And that's when Michael, he's like getting pounded. And then all of a sudden he starts fighting back and he starts kicking the crap out of Tim Robbins' character, Oliver. And basically he gets up and he figures out that he's got to stop this bomb. So he goes running, grabs the car, starts flying, right, trying to get to the place where he knows that they're going to be dropping off, thinking that they're going to be dropping off, following one of the vans. His son is in one of the vans, and so he's following him. And basically we have like this pretty good size kind of chart chase sequence, shows him running into all kinds of vehicles, stuff like that, breaking up his car, stuff like that, and eventually gets to the place where supposed the bomb is going to be. And he gets there and he runs to it and opens it up, and there's nothing in the van. And he's like, oh shit. And and so of course the FBI guy is kind of like seeing like him losing his marbles and stuff like that. And that's when he all of a sudden he starts to piece things together, things that Tim Robbins has said. And he's like, you're the only one that has been at all these places. You dying over there?
I'm fine.
All right. And so basically he starts to run towards his car, and he gets to his car, he lifts up the trunk, and there is the bomb. Boom! Giant explosion happens, blows up the whole entire fucking building. Boom! And after that happens, basically it goes to news stories saying, basically starts talking about him, saying, oh, he was losing his mind, blah, 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 stuff that Sally had mentioned earlier, and basically framing him for this whole incident. And so after that happens, that's we all of a sudden we go back to Tim Robbins and Joan Cusack. They're outside of their house. They're showing Jeff Bridges' son being taken off by family members, and all of a sudden it pans over to them and they're waving goodbye, and they kind of mutter a couple things to each other, and you see a for sale sign on their lawn. They walk in, and that's the end of the movie. So what did you think about the finale of this film, which is fucking amazing? And what was your overall thoughts on that whole last section of the film? Was there anything that you particularly caught that you really found interesting? And just overall your thoughts on the conclusion of this film?
I think that, well, I mean, in general, I just want to state obviously the obvious, which is that even though I don't have it right in front of me, well, I do, but I don't have the tab pulled up right in front of me. I'm not going to bother looking. I don't need to even know who the director was right now. But I know you already mentioned it at the beginning, but I don't need to know at this moment or any of the names. Everyone that was a part of this production did a great job. Now, don't I'm not trying now. I'm not at the same time though. The cinematography I don't think was anything stellar or anything like that, whatnot. So I'm not trying to say that this is like the perfect film, but it's a very well produced film, right? To accompany a great story with great acting, which is always great to have that. That's another really great aspect that makes it so good. And honestly though, I should give it the credit to the cinematography is pretty decent because I mean that again with that chase scene and whatnot and everything, and you can't have decent cinematography and not have good suspense in a film, right? In color, almost, right? I mean, you can't have shitty shooting, essentially, right? Because I mean, especially in films like this, where a lot of the suspense is built off of character, dialogue, and back and forth, right? And sort of slow paced, almost at times, like, one actor or one actress scenes that, you know, for that are 6, 7, 8 minutes long of just like, you know, context or research, for instance, in this film. You have to kind of like make an effort to really shoot it well, right? Because at that point, like, I mean, you're not giving anybody to work with anybody visually that's going to be, again, flashy or going to stand the fuck out like crazy, like a landscape from Last of Us, for instance, right? Where, you know, some of them shots in that where the country's, you know, it's been devastated, you know, and whatnot, everything, and things have regrown. You know, you just have these, you know, stunning. Remember some of them stunning backgrounds, some of the shots, and whatnot, that are just almost like artwork. You don't have that in this film. There are no opportunities for that. None. There really aren't any that I can think of. So, I mean, for one thing, I never even mentioned or talked about it all either, how well done the freaking shootout scene was with the wife's death. That was well done. The girl with the baby coming out of nowhere, even her face, her contemplation, and like her not wanting to kill her. You could tell, like, not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, feeling it being difficult for her to want to kill that woman, right? You know what I'm saying? Whatnot. Like, she did not want to, I don't think, but felt she had to. Yeah, which, you know, I'm not going to, recall the film. We know why, right? But just the fact that even in that situation, we only see that actor one time for 3 seconds. But her facial expressions and the way that she pulls that off are so well done for her part that it just continues to fit to that quality of the film. It just expresses the continuous quality of sheer authentic emotion, right? And distress and contemplation, right? And indecision, right? You know what I mean? You know, guilt, right? You know, it's all there. It's all being acted authentically, right? You know, even the fake, you know, I'm your friend, you know, bullshit, you know what I mean? Whatnot, pity me. You know, I changed my name because I fucked up. So even that, like, you know, it's all well done and all authentically done well. And I think that that's an important point to point out, even before you talk about us finally giving you a chase scene, right? Where, again, it's not visually like blowing you away. It's suspenseful. It's just legitimately suspenseful. There's a lot of stakes. And although they don't add a ton of layers, the elements that they do add fit well. The way they handle the bomb, right? And it just have everything goes so quick in that final third, right? It's just so rat-a-tat that I find very impressive. I really do. I find it very impressive to be able to not only deliver that consistency across the span of the whole film, but to also have such a great ending, but even before the ending, right? Build up a crescendo almost that's not loud and noisy, but yet at the same time suspenseful as shit, right? And still putting you in a position where you're like, wait a minute, are you serious? Like, how's this even going to work out? Like, are you telling me that like the guy's not going to win here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, you know, this is actually going to go in a direction that's not predictable. It's like, fuck. Maybe it's just because of freaking how movies are nowadays. I guess that, you know, that elicits that from me. You get where I'm going with that. I mean, you know, let's be honest here. You know, other than maybe like Timothy Chalamet, right? Who I saw a trailer with him of his what's his name? His new film is gonna be coming out. As
Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
Wonka.
God, man, that guy's talented, bro. Like, seriously, he could act. And he's got a hell of a future in front of him. He can pretty much, I think, do anything.
Yep.
He can be funny, and that I only bring him up because he reminds me of these actors, right? Like, he reminds me of someone who'd be capable of pulling off a film like this, You know what I mean? Not at his age now, but like down the road at the age of Tim Robbins, Jeff Bridges, potentially where they're at their career here, right? And I like that contrast. I do. It's nice to see that there's actresses out there right now that have that in them, that balance, because it gives me. I don't know about you, but it gives me optimism overall for the cinematic industry, in terms of us always talking a little bit here and there about, hey, at some point besides Oppenheimer, we're going to get some dope movies that got to happen that aren't Marvel, and I just guess basically that all I can really say is just that I wonder right now if it's even possible to make a film like this that's this good and have an ending like that, right? That's pulled off that well. Not do it, but pull it off that well and sell it, right? To where you're literally like, are you fucking kidding me? And at the same time, you go from literally, for me anyway, feeling bad for Jeff Bridges' Michael character in the beginning of the movie, right? Not know what the fuck to think for a while, and then ending up at the end, the same shit, feeling even worse for him. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man. Like, your shit was already rough, and now you're fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, god damn. You know what I mean? And whatnot and everything, And yeah, I mean, just, hey, great storytelling, great writing. And just excellent acting. And, Tim Robbins flipping that switch, man, was cold, bro. It was cold, and I loved it, because it was not like Michael Keaton cold, like, from what's it called, that we reviewed with Andy Garcia, right? Where there's measures where it's the whole, that type of deal, right? The sort of Wild West, the cowboy, crazy type, type villain type person. This is more of like the suave, like, I'm very fucking intelligent. I'm very good at what I'm doing. I'm very well planned, right? I've got every fucking corner covered. It's already set. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this has been figured out a long time ago. You are literally at a point where, like, utterly now, you think you went from thinking that you had me. Well, guess what? Shit. Like, essentially, I can decide at any given moment to just kill you or not kill you. I don't. It's up to you. Or you kill your kid, kill your dog, kill grandma. Whatever. And I don't give a fuck. You're just an impediment to me. The only reason you're alive is because you saved my kid. Other than that, you'd be dead right now. He basically said that.
Yep.
Without saying it. Which, again, that's my point. I don't know nowadays you could make a movie with writing and acting where you could say pull that off. Right? And make that work like that. Without saying it. And so, hey, hats off. I mean, just great acting. Great pick, Cyber. Great moderating as usual. And as far as the ending goes, it's sad, man. It's fucking sad. Like, I don't know if there's a lesson to be learned from it. I just felt sad.
Yeah. I mean, thank you. That was great. I mean, most definitely. I mean, it's a sad ending. Most definitely, it's not the ending you're looking for, because most people want the hero to win at the end. But that's what made this movie so good, is that at this time it was a very far and few between where the bad guy won, and in this case they had that happen, and you can't fault Tim Robbins for winning, because he did such a great job of portraying it. And you're like blown away by it. And I think that was fantastically done by the director, giving us that like complete mindfuck at the end, giving us this great ending that kept us on our toes the whole time. Like, it wasn't like we could just open the book and be like, oh yeah, that's what's going to happen. Blah, blah, blah is going to do this and save the day. No, this was a completely 180 from what you would expect it to happen. And that's what made this movie so great. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you got a chance to watch it, because I think this is a fantastic movie that is never talked about. I think it's probably one of Robbins and Bridges, one of their finest films. definitely in their top 5 greatest movies they've made. And this film is just really well conceived from the start of the film to the very end. You're on your seat. And the great thing about this film, like you said, there is no lag time. It is virtually smooth throughout the whole entire film. You don't find any lag time. You have great things happening at every moment throughout this film. And this movie was almost 2 hours long, which that's very impressive, I feel, keeping it that smooth throughout that whole 120 minutes. And everyone in it was fantastic. I mean, Hope Davis, Joan Cusack, Mason Gamble, Spencer Treat Clark. I mean, everyone did a great job of this film.
I don't think there's one weakness in the film.
No. Not at all. Not at all, people.
No, there's stuff that's not everything is blow you away shit. But even the stuff that's not the best, like when I mentioned the intro title or whatever, right? Strip deal. It wasn't a problem. It just wasn't, I guess, something that I think maybe could have done a little bit better. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a gripe.
It's called an opinion.
Yeah, no, but it's not like it's not an issue with the film at all.
No, it's called an opinion.
No, and honestly, if anything, I think that in hindsight, and as I'm and now going through and doing these movie reviews and whatnot, and having a chance to review these great movies, when I'm feeling right and whatnot, and I feel good, and my energy's right and everything and whatnot, I really get excited and enjoy and look forward to reviewing these movies. And it's really fun watching these films, a film like this, and knowing you're going to review it. When you've watched it for the first time, I've only done this twice, where I've never seen the film before, and when you do it that way, it sort of just kind of gives you flutters almost in your stomach a little bit and whatnot. You're like, fuck, man. Like, this is going to be fun to talk about. Hey, at the end of the day, bottom line, good ass movie and a 10 for 10.
Definitely 10 for 10. This movie is absolutely fantastic. And I mean, I completely think that this is probably one of my favorite endings to a film. The one thing that was great about watching it today was the fact that I hadn't watched it in probably a good 10 years. So it was nice to watch it again because I hadn't watched it in such a long time. And there was a lot that I was like, ooh, I forgot about that. And I forgot about that. And I remember, the basics, like how it ended, how it began, that type of deal. And I just remember thinking that, holy crap, there was all this other little stuff that was cool. Because I actually had forgotten that Hope Davis played the girlfriend. I totally forgot she was the girlfriend in the film. And I'm like, holy crap, that hottie is the girlfriend in this? I'm like, damn. I'm glad I remember to watch this. And it was funny that she played that character too, because I've seen her in so many other things, like you mentioned earlier. And I was like, oh, that's right. She was in this, she was in that. And I'm like, wow. And then watching this, I'm like, wow, she really did play this part to the T. She was amazing. And I just rewatching it, going with everyone's performance in the film, I was just so blown away again by the performances. And I just remember thinking to myself, I like this movie. I think it's enjoyable. And I'm like, that's right. I'm like, I forgot that these two kids were in it. I forgot Mason Gamble played the son of Oliver, and that Spencer Treat Clark played the son of Michael, Jeff Bridges. And I was like, holy crap, I forgot they were even in this. So it was fun rewatching it and just reliving that great nostalgia for the first time I watched it. So yeah, I give it a solid 10 out of 10 too as well. Just a really fantastically done film.
Jeez. I had never looked at her whole filmography before.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of movies.
In treatment, all right. Okay, so I guess she honestly, what I was going to ask you, Cyber, was that you watch a lot more films, with her than I have. I haven't seen her in anything really lately, recent in a long time. Did she sort of just switch over to TV for a while?
Well, yeah, she was in a whole bunch of TV shows for I would say the mid 2000s. And then she's done bit parts in other movies and stuff like that. But yeah, she's more of a bit player in movies versus being like the lead role.
No, but
she just was.
No, but that makes sense though, timing wise, wouldn't it though? Because really, if you think about it, isn't it right around the early 2000s when it starts to become more prevalent to have actors that are known for only doing films, doing TV?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's quite a few people that have done that, but
with little but you know what I mean though. That little kind of that you know what I mean. That maybe it was farther down the line, time wise. But you know what I'm talking about.
I was saying the 2010s.
Yes. Where all of a sudden, when we started getting streaming, right, and everything and whatnot, and like and all that, as things changed, you started seeing big name actors and actresses all of a sudden being fine with signing up for doing TV.
Yeah, that was like the 2010s. That's because that's like when the streamings around the 2010s is when the streaming started all the pop up, like 2013, 2014. So yeah, that's when a lot of those people started going to the streaming. But she actually did a few TV shows actually on regular TV. So she just was kind of busy with that, doing that thing for a little bit versus doing movies just because she could.
No, most definitely. And you know what? I remember I did watch a couple of the shows, at least a couple episodes of some of the shows she was in there in the early 2000s. Because I watched cable back then. I used to skip the channels. I'd sit and watch an episode of a show here and there and whatnot just to check it out, In fact, I even think at one point, I like to look it up, but I do believe she actually did guest on Law and Order.
Yep.
Once or twice. She was like, as a backup of, a secondary character.
She was also in X-Files, The
That's
Practice.
Right. That's right, the X-Files. I got the X-Files movie. Got it on the list, baby.
Both of them.
Oh shit! I forgot there were two of them. That's right.
Yep, one from 98, and then the other one was 2000 something.
Yeah, that's right. There's a big gap.
All right, folks. So that is the conclusion of our Arlington Road review. As you can see, we both give it a 10 out of 10. Want to thank Sally, the MCU girl, for popping up for the brief time she was here. It was great to have you back, Sally. Thank you, Jack D, for the super sticker. That was very thoughtful of you. Want to thank you, and we appreciate you contributing. And we also just want to thank all of our fans out there for watching us. You guys are awesome. You got us over 30,000 subscribers. We're almost at 31,000. And, just keep rocking it. Keep hitting that subscribe button and watching us as usual. And so from there, I will let you take it, Jeff, to whatever you would like.
Here, sir, I am really quick going to throw over to your YouTube channel to plug. And I'm going to grab something really quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Would you like me to put you in a certain spot real quick?
No, that's fine. Right at the beginning.
93, baby.
693, people. So as you can see, yeah, if you enjoy me here as a moderator, just on the Bleeding Edge in general, you can check out my solo content. Find me under CyberMcShark under YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, pretty much any social media platform. And as you can see, I'm at 693. My most recent review was the Blue Beetle movie. Let's definitely check that review out. It's fun. Also check out my Exorcist True Believer trailer reaction as well too. And I was watching some Nightmare on Elm Streets today, catching up on ones I hadn't seen. But as you can see there, I did the first two there for you guys, 1 and 2. I already had seen those, but I was catching up. Hadn't seen Dream Warriors or Dream Master or Dream Child yet, so I was watching those today. The Nun is a fantastic film. Check out that little short if you get a chance. And I'll be seeing The Nun 2 hopefully tomorrow, and then I'll be reviewing it. Keep your eyes out for my Equalizer 3 and Gran Turismo reviews. They'll be up soon, along with some more trailer reactions. But yeah, people, yeah, keep on plugging, keep on subscribing. Let's get me to that magic 1,000 mark.
There you go, baby. And you know what? On that note, I want to again thank everybody out there for supporting us. Just like Cyber said, for getting us over 30,000 subscribers. I think that I couldn't be more proud and more happy and more humbled to hit that number because again, you know, people can think whatever they want or whatever and think this is just people can think it's just you know, some gaslighting or whatever whatnot. But neither Cyber or I ever thought we'd ever hit 30,000 subscribers. So you know what I'm saying? Like you know, again, we're not bullshitting you, right? Like it's in a game. You know what I'm saying? Like we did not think it would happen. So like, you know, at that point when we say that we appreciate you and like that every subscriber fucking counts, that we appreciate every single one of you, right? Even fucking the bot motherfuckers that apparently some asshole on Twitter says that are all our subscribers. We even like them and appreciate them. The bots, which I didn't know bots subscribe to YouTube channels on their own, but I guess they do. I don't know how that works. I don't know. But you know, maybe bots are more versatile than I thought they were. I thought they could only give head through links through POF in my inbox. But anyways, which has never actually materialized for some reason. Damn it! Every time I click that link, I don't get a blowjob, motherfucker. What the fuck? They keep getting me too. 5 times I've hit that link. No blowjob, Cyber. Can you sue bots for false advertising?
You can try.
Oh God, that would be funny as shit if you tried to sue a bot. Only in Canada would that be allowed. In one of those fucking yeah, in one of those fucking kangaroo goddamn human tribunal courts they so-called call or have or whatever. Anyways, folks, all I wanted to just basically show you was, look, I've been fucking literally being lazy as shit and a little fucking, you know, too busy playing video games and hanging out with my dog, talking to him all day. Because that's all I have a life, you know, whatnot every day. I live in a cave.
Poor Dodge.
But as you can see right here, this is tons and fucking tons of money, right? In the form of fucking cards made of plastic that have names on them, like Amazon and whatever, you know, and their money, their currency, right? That can be used to exchange purchases and buy things, which is awesome. And very soon, and also right now, I'm going to dual purpose and kind of shavel this off as a preempt to tomorrow. I actually finally, for Cyber, make the video for him where I'm going to explain to you that you can get a bunch of these bitches if you simply make sure that you go ahead and 2 times. You have 2 chances over 2-week periods, right? Between this month and next month to simply go into one of our Ahsoka episode reviews, subscribe to Cyber's YouTube channel, screenshot it, stay subscribed, because if you don't, you ain't getting shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. No, you're not getting shit. Because that doesn't work that way. Literally, it's that simple. And give me your info in that comment section. And then also say hello to us and tell Cyber he's handsome. And I'm handsome too. And you love the Bleeding Edge too. Basically, every 2-week period, twice. Unless I'm going to do it again. But I think twice should be enough. Because Cyber Night Shark ain't no joke, motherfucker. I'm going to be getting a lot of these bitches out. It's that simple. You'll be getting them. I'm going to raffle them. And you'll get them. I'll pay for all the shipping, whatnot, and everything. We're going to be doing more giveaways. I'm going to start incorporating it more on the Bleeding Edge itself. But we're going to focus on Cyber Night Shark. And then we're going to focus on Onions Pop Culture Guy before we worry about anything else. And my focus for the rest of the year is to make sure that no matter what I do, if I have to give every single one of these motherfuckers away and give head again, like, you know, which I might eventually have to do anyway, or might just do anyway, just for fun, just to try it out, you know, see what it's like, you know, so I can be in, you know, live in that some other, you get what I'm saying, for diversity and inclusivity purposes, Cyber. Is it inclusive to suck a dick when you don't want to or whatever, whatnot? I don't know.
Yes.
It is. Okay, good to know.
Yes.
I'm good to know it's Disney approved. So basically, long story short, this is a pile, folks, of Amazon gift cards that are all at least $25 up to $100. All right, and there's also 3 gift cards in here that are $100, $200, and $300. They're all going to be given away until you get this motherfucker to 1,000 subs. It's that simple. And I'll send you a bag of crack too. All right, as a little add-in, right? Little sack of crack, maybe. And it can be no weak shit either. I'll only step on it 2.75 times. Besides that, folks, please, again, do me a solid. I'm going to actually put the video out. You'll see it. This will be in it. But it's that simple. All right, we're reviewing the Ahsoka Disney Plus series on Wednesday nights. We did episode 3 on Thursday night. We're doing episode 4 next Wednesday. Okay? That would be September, I believe, the 13th, right? That will be your first opportunity to simply go into the comment section at any given time in a 2-week period. Subscribe to Cyber's YouTube channel. Take a screenshot. Drop it in that bitch. Say hello. Give me your email or whatever, whatnot. Give me your contact info. Say subscribed. I'll raffle you. You get your card. That simple. Let's get Cyber to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. That's my pledge. That's what we're about here at the Bleeding Edge. We take care of our family, right? And we do love you, Sally. Like Cyber said, you frustrate me sometimes. You frustrate him too. We love you. You're a good kid, and we know you have a good heart, right? And we at the Bleeding Edge, again, we're very thankful. We're very appreciative to all of you out there. And we support each other. And at the end of the day, though, I want to be clear that for the most part, I'm not going to be tolerating much Sally behavior here on the Bleeding Edge these days going forward. That's something that simply is not going to be happening, because it's not fair to any of you out there and whatnot at all to have to come on here and watch our shows and not know what the hell's going on. And I'm just not going to tolerate it anymore. So, the quality of our content matters a lot to us. And we want to entertain you and you guys to enjoy our serious reviews, our jokes, our humor, whatever. But we want to put quality people out there in front of you, right? That can actually handle an entire review. And it's that simple. So we take our shit seriously, folks, is my point. We want to entertain you, and we also want to be professional. Except other than the crack. So thank you very much. We appreciate you. I believe this Sunday, I'm doing my 18th part of my Andor Season 1 recap, which has been going on for 4.5 months now. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I have 2 more parts to do, and I'm doing my first of 2 parts to end my Andor 1 season recap on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. On Monday, Daryl Dixon, spin-off Walking Dead series, episode 1 review. On Monday night, me and Andres, I'm hoping that Andrew from GNM might come over and help us out. He says he will. We'll have to see. I'm not going to, until he shows up, I'm not going to guarantee it. But he might be here. We haven't seen him in a while. He's a good guy. Y'all know him. He's good people. And Daryl Dixon series, this is going to be fire. Right? And Wednesday is Ahsoka episode 4, baby. I ain't seen it yet, but I've heard there's some dope-ass shit that goes down in there. I'm sure Cyber probably already knows. So, or do you, Cyber? No? Okay.
Nope. I haven't watched it.
I didn't know if maybe you heard more rumors than I have.
No. But FYI, we are only 26 subscribers away from 31,000 subscribers, people.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure what a good landmark would be to say to put out to set for us for the end of the year. But I'd have to say, probably, folks, if you could help us get over 40,000, I'd be happy with that. Right? 50 would be, I think, too much to ask. But that'd be nice too. We love you. God bless you. And we really mean that. I mean, please have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for, supporting us all through this year, all through last year, and just keep on supporting us because we ain't going nowhere. Right? Until we get the lottery and me and Cyber retire in a massage parlor. We're going to build a massage parlor mansion, right? And retire there.
We're going to be like the Playboy Mansion.
Yep. And it'll be in the Time Cop dimension also.
Exactly.
And John,
where everyone has different hair colors, but they're not the right names.
That's right. And Joel Van Dam will be our butler, and Sabine will be our hairstylist.
True. Very true.
All right, folks. Take care. We'll see you next time. Peace. I'm leaving Cyber hanging like an asshole.
Just let a man breathe and just hush so my mind could just cease, so my mind don't erupt. At times I feel I can't get enough, but I sip a double cup, then I spin a couple bucks.